In this video, we sail a yacht around Queensland's Whitsunday Islands, visit one of Australia's most stunning beaches, celebrate a couple of milestones, and enjoy the trip of a lifetime. After a couple of all-day flights from the west coast, we land in Airlie Beach and check into our accommodation at Magnum's, the OG of Airlie Beach accommodation. It's a pretty cool location tucked away off the busy main street and yet close enough to restaurants, cafes and bars. There are all different types of accommodation here, from backpackers to self-contained cabins, all amongst a lush jungle-like forest. Quite a contrast from the red soils of the Pilbara. Airlie Beach is the gateway to the Whitsundays and a popular place for visitors from all over, including the greater Mackay area, interstate and internationally. While most visitors to the Whitsunday Islands leave via Shute Harbour, our charter yacht is in the smaller Coral Sea Marina closer to town. The next day we were able to go visit Breeza, the yacht that we will be sailing for the next 7 days. The Coral Sea Marina is where we'll depart from, which is a nice walk along the shore from our accommodation. The marina is a little world of its own, with cafes, restaurants, tour operators and snorkelling and diving equipment hire. The marina is really nice and we can use the bathroom facilities while we are moored. As part of the charter, we're able to move aboard a day early and have our first night, which is an extra night, in the marina. This works out really well, as bright and early the next morning we have our provisions delivered by Whitsunday Provisioning. We also have our orientation of the yacht with the charter company, Whitsunday Escape. As we're pretty new to sailing and as our competent crew course was over 6 months ago, we elect to have a couple of extra hours with a member of Whitsunday Escape to ensure we remember all the important bits. As part of the conditions of charter, Whitsunday Escape takes the yacht in and out of the marina for us, so the difficult bits are all handled. Breeza is a 41-foot Beneteau monohull with 2 cabins and 2 heads, which is almost exactly the same as Samsara, which we did our competent crew course on, the exception being that Samsara had 3 cabins. Technically you can fit 6 people on board as the table in the saloon folds down into a third double bed, but personally I think it was just perfect for the 2 of us. I like the L-shaped galley, which seems a bit more secure for cooking while underway than the version which runs down one side of the boat. This design also has more seating. The cockpit is quite large and shaded and could comfortably fit about 6 people for sundowners. There are 2 helms and she has a fold-down transom, making it easy to board from the stern. Breeza has a full batten mainsail and a self-tacking roller furling headsail. Our first day out is quickly swallowed up with the orientation, so we only make it out to Funnel Bay, where we anchor for the first night. We're not sure how far we can comfortably sail each day while still enjoying the relaxing and holidaying part of the trip, so with a rough itinerary in mind, we decide to make it up as we go. It seems from my research that it's possible to circle the main group of islands fairly comfortably in a week. We are in the Whitsunday Islands on a beautiful 41-foot Beneteau. And just had our first night out at anchor last night, a little bit rolly, but yeah, yesterday was quite a busy day. We had the briefing for most of the morning and a couple of refresher tips and things through the afternoon, so I didn't have a lot of time to do too much, so we just stayed the night in Funnel Bay. But now finally the next morning we are off, so heading out to Stonehaven to maybe do some snorkeling and just see what's going on out there. But beautiful conditions, 10 knots of wind. We're pretty lucky with the weather conditions. Being early November, it's well past the main tourist season and heading into the part of the year where cyclones tend to occur in this part of the world. But as you can see, it's smooth sailing, or motoring in our case, as the wind is pretty quiet for the first part of the trip. This gives us a chance to get a feel for handling the yacht and the navigation equipment without the added complication of raising and lowering the sails for the first day out. Luckily we rented an extra paddleboard as the repair I had made to mine started to fail, probably after being rolled up. I'm not surprised, as I know the glue I used wasn't marine grade, but it was all I could get at the time. I love the idea of having our paddleboards inflated and ready to use. While it's a little bit of a mission to get them up alongside the bow after paddling, I think sailing and paddleboarding go together really well. Maybe a yacht is the ultimate paddleboarding accessory. Our second night out, we make it to Stonehaven Bay on Hook Island. Here we find a nice protected spot from overnight winds looking out over Hayman Island. I've got to say, I think my favourite part about sailing has to be the chance to sit out and eat dinner as you watch the sunset. Early evening is such a beautiful and peaceful part of the day, and it almost feels indulgent to allow yourself the time to sit, relax and enjoy the moment. The next day we pass through the passage between Hayman and Hook Islands and out past the protected borders of the last couple of days. It was a bit choppy as we manoeuvred across the waves, navigating our way south, down the eastern side of Hook Island. Our third night out we found a mooring ball in the Hook Passage between the south of Hook Island and the north of Whitsunday Island. We're finding the guidebook 100 Magic Miles a great reference for our trip. We purchased our own copy, but Breeza has a copy too, which Whitsunday Escape has made additional notes about the anchorages and moorings available, along with any hazards for those unfamiliar with the waters. This makes it really easy to work out where to stay each night and which places are best due to the prevailing winds. Each morning we have a check-in with Whitsunday Escape on the radio. Whitsunday Escape gives a weather report with the wind speed and direction predicted for the day, and then each boat reports their plans for the day. This way, Whitsunday Escape can make any recommendations for places to stop along the way and gives us a chance to ensure that our plans are reasonable and achievable for both Breeza and our abilities.
Good morning there, Breeza. Go ahead with your plans for today.
Good morning, Whitsunday Escape. The plan is to leave Hook Passage, head down the eastern side of Whitsunday Island to check out Chalkies for lunch, and then from there head to Turtle Bay to anchor tonight.
Yeah, no worries, fella. Look again, yes, normally true north winds coming in at the moment, 10 to 15 knots, so I'm imagining Whitehaven Bay to be quite choppy there today. Feel free to cruise by, check it out, but I imagine it might be a little lumpy. So if it is, just carry on to the southern side of Whitsunday Island then.
We'll do that. We'll just pass maybe straight by. If it's a little bit too lumpy for us, that sounds good. Cheers.
Each yacht is called in alphabetical order, starting with fellow charterers aboard a catamaran called A Little Bit Naughty, a play on the word nautical. A Little Bit Naughty lived up to its name, as every morning we would hear Whitsunday Escape calling on the CB. A little bit naughty, Whitsunday Escape, which would then be followed every time by silence, leaving everyone wondering just what A Little Bit Naughty was getting up to. One place I really want to visit is Whitehaven Beach. It's the poster child for the Whitsundays, and chances are, if you haven't seen it in advertising, you've seen it in one of the many Hollywood films that have been filmed in the Whitsundays. Whitehaven Beach appears in Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, in the 5th instalment of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales with Johnny Depp, and in Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson, plus many, many others. Tongue Bay is a handy spot deep enough to moor monohulls just north of the Lookout over Hill Inlet and Whitehaven Beach. This is the best spot to stop to enjoy the spectacular aqua waters and go for a walk up to the viewing areas. Now, a word of warning, make sure you take your shoes for this one. Spending day after day on a boat, you tend not to wear any footwear. Even so, I did get out our thongs, jandals or flip-flops for the non-Aussies, but with all the excitement of my first time getting into the dinghy in choppy conditions and trying not to fall in the water, I left them safely in the cockpit. Rookie mistake. I was pretty sure the sandy walk would be fine on our feet, but what I wasn't prepared for was how hot the boardwalks were. So, be warned, take your shoes. Whitehaven Beach was stunning and full of tourists even this late in the year, but you can see why. It reminds me a lot of Luscantire on the Isle of Harris in Scotland. What do you think? Our fourth night out, we moored in Turtle Bay on the southern side of Whitsunday Island, just across from Hamilton Island. After our time out on the water with only other sailors for company, it's a bit of a shock to the system to see 737s landing at Hamo Airport. As part of the conditions of charter, we don't have clearance to enter the marina on Hamilton Island, which we're happy with as we've been enjoying the solitude of sailing. First paddle of the day, we stayed in Turtle Island last night, lots of horseflies here. So today I have taken the higher board out because Pink Panther is still leaking a little bit. Thought I'd resolve that, but yeah, it seems like a delamination problem now, so I have to whack a bit more glue on that. But yeah, perfect conditions to get out, absolutely glass off, lovely little bay, nice sandy beach, and heaps of coral to look at too while you're paddling over the top. So yeah, beautiful spot. The next day we have our longest sail yet and are pretty happy successfully navigating the south of Hamilton Island.
Good day sailing. Conditions are perfect for newbies like us. Light winds, 7 knots, currently doing 3.5 knots over ground boat speed, 2 sails up, champagne sailing.
As we start to head north up the eastern side of South Mole, our skills are tested and we don't seem to be able to capture the wind quite so well. Despite our best efforts, we end up having to resort to motoring to ensure we get to our mooring before dark. We make it up to Sid Harbour for the night and notice that there are many signs floating about in the water, warning sailors not to swim here. The water tends to be a little bit more cloudy than other anchorages and it's a well-known bay for sharks to lurk. Okay, this is probably going to gross everyone out, but November is a time that march flies like to come out and play, and it's impossible to escape them. They are nasty wee buggers and their bites can leave huge welts on any uncovered skin, and sometimes even through clothing. So we found a new use for our thongs, chandles or flip-flops for the non-Aussies, and a way to make a new friend. The Whitsunday Islands visible today were originally part of a mainland mountain range. Over millions of years, these mountains have separated from and then rejoined the mainland a number of times as ice ages have come and gone and sea levels have risen and fallen.
Pretend you don't see me, just act. Do your best impersonation of elderly Mangles.
For the next night out, we make our way back to Stonehaven so we can spend our final full day exploring the area. We practice some more sailing as we make our way around to Blue Pearl Bay on Hayman Island, where we have our lunch and relax for a bit before deciding that the sandy strip of beach trailing out from Langford Island in the middle of Stonehaven would be a little less bouncy. We stayed our final night in Stonehaven as well, as we found it a good spot to have a straight route back to the Coral Sea Marina on the final morning. We needed to be back early to return the yacht and get to Proserpine Airport for our flights home. We motored back inside the marina where our charter guide came out to help us moor and refuel at the fuel dock before doing a handover. Sailing in the Whitsundays is an absolute dream come true and something we've both wanted to do for longer than I can remember. The waters are relatively protected by the Great Barrier Reef, making it an ideal location for beginner sailors and more experienced alike. So, with a significant birthday and anniversary to celebrate, we couldn't think of a more perfect way to honour two important milestones. Thanks for joining us on what has to be the trip of a lifetime. For more information on Whitsunday Escape Charter or Whitsunday Provisioning, I'll put links in the description below. Sadly, we're not famous enough for sponsorship with either of these companies, so we paid the standard rate, but can freely and without agenda say that they're both awesome. For more information on paddleboarding in Queensland, check out our Queensland playlist, or if you're thinking of exploring the West, have a look at our Western Australia videos. We'd love you to join us on our next adventure, so click like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when the latest video is released. And while you're at it, spread the love and share this video with your paddleboarding mates. See you next time.